Well, there is the fat from my deer meat, and it's on my tiny house wood stove, and I'm going to render the fat. Funny enough, on camera it looks like more meat than fat. I think that's an illusion. But I am going to attempt to render the fat in this pan on top of the wood stove. I'm going to put a lid on it in a few minutes here, and I'm going to let it just sit there and cook down until it's all liquefied, fully liquefied. And however long that takes won't be a problem at all for me, because it just sits there. The wood stove just sits there anyway, doing what it does, and it's free energy. So as I continue getting more fat, I'll continue adding it in there. And as things work out, hopefully I'll be making some pemmican. I'm going to use some cranberries, fresh cranberries, and I'm going to hang them from the board up here above the wood stove in a mesh bag and dry them. And I'm going to dry them to a crisp. And then I'm going to take and crush everything down to a powder. The deer jerky, I'll dry it to a crisp. And I will render the fat and dry some cranberries to a crisp and powder it all and mix it in with some fat, and I'll have pemmican, an old Indian recipe that is shelf stable and lasts for years. It's a good survival food. So I'm going to attempt to try to use all of the deer meat, all of the deer, as much as I can with the knowledge that I have so far, and try not to waste much at all. So, alright everybody, I'm going to let that cook down. I'm going to put the lid on and leave it. Hi everybody, today is Thanksgiving, and I am making my own meal. Although I'm sitting here alone in the tiny house on wheels, I'm going to make my Thanksgiving dinner. And it's a little bit late in the day, the sun is setting, but I'll have a nice dinner, an actual dinner and not a lunch. So I've got my Dutch oven sitting here, and Brian may recognize this particular Dutch oven. And I'm going to cook my meal on the tiny house wood stove, which is always burning anyway. This time of year, I cook exclusively on the wood stove. Over here you got a teapot, which is actually intended to put water into the air. And I've got the lid of the cast iron Dutch oven on top of it for now. So I've got some rice in here for starters with some water. It's 1 cup rice and 2 cups, so 1.5 cup of water, because the juices from the meats and vegetables are going to soak into there. And I'm about to cut up some potatoes, and we'll be back in a minute. I have added 4 potatoes to the mix, and now I'm going to cut up an onion, a large onion. When I cook a meal in a Dutch oven, I cook for days, not just for one meal, and that's convenient since I'm alone. So we'll be back in a minute with some onion and then some carrots, and make a really nice Thanksgiving dinner here. It's getting dark fast as I make this, so I hope you can see it well. I don't have any lights on yet in the tiny house on wheels. It is 4:30 in the afternoon. The sun has set. Well, I got here some, I've added some potatoes, onions, garlic, baby carrots. I cheated on the baby carrots, so forgive me. I bought peeled baby carrots so that it makes the work easy, because carrots take the longest for me to process, and I didn't feel like doing it. So anyway, got all that, and now I'm going to put on some seasoning, some flavors, and then I'm going to throw in the meat. I'm going to close this up. I've got some Cajun seasoning salts. I want to toss in some of this here. Gives me some good flavor. I like a lot of flavor, so I'm going to put it on a little bit thick. That's going to work through the vegetables later. And then I'm going to toss in the meat. I got to go grab the package. Be back in a minute. Alright, I've thrown in a massive backstrap. That's the entire backstrap to the deer that I got the other day. The entire backstrap. Then I'm going to throw on some more seasoning salts here on top of the meat. Let that work in there. This is semi-frozen from my off-grid solar-powered freezer, which, by the way, right now is being topped off by a generator. The Harbor Freight generator is running just temporarily because the freezer needs a lot to get frozen, but once it's freezing, it's going to be easy to maintain. So because I put in raw unfrozen meats in there, a lot of raw unfrozen meats, and I've also got some other stuff in there, I've got to bring it up to temperature. And today was 60 degrees out. So I'm just running the Harbor Freight again a little bit just to make sure that freezer freezes up. And it did cycle through a while ago, so I think it's starting to get up there. Anyway, this is now ready to go. Now I'm going to take the lid, put it on there, and leave it. Now we come back later. That looks very rusty, but it's not. I don't know why that looks so brown on video. It is not what it looks like. Odd. Anyway, we will be back, and well, it's going to take hours. 4:30 in the afternoon. I probably figure I won't be eating until 8 or 9 tonight, but I'll have a very fine Thanksgiving dinner in my tiny house on wheels, cooked on the tiny house wood stove. So see you all later. And no Thanksgiving meal is complete without squash. Butternut squash from my own garden. So now I wait a long time. It's going to take a few hours, but it's going to be well worth the wait. So see you all later. Well, everybody, it's a few hours later, and there is my Thanksgiving dinner. That, funny enough, that coil of meat doesn't look as appetizing. Whoops, I'm steaming up. Coiled up like that, but that is a very, very fine backstrap from a deer, which is the finest, softest meat on the deer from my understanding. And I'm going to enjoy my late but good Thanksgiving dinner. I'll talk to you all later. Well, everybody, there it is. Squash, meat, and rice, potatoes, and carrot, and everything else mix. And now I'm going to sit down and enjoy with an alcohol-free beer and a movie. That's it. Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Out.